Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. Psychopomps, messengers of the dead who escort the deceased to the afterlife, come in a wide variety of forms. Some are unassuming, yet most certainly turn heads, either being incredibly fierce-looking or possessing otherworldly beauty. Norse mythology told of a special collective of psychopomps, ones who were equally as fierce as they were beautiful, and who only appeared before a select few of the deceased. The Valkyries. The choosers of the slain, Valkyries were divine shield maidens, warrior women under the command of Odin, the king of the Aesir gods. They are depicted in art as being tall, beautiful women, dressed head to toe in battle-ready armor, carrying spears and riding upon the backs of horses, sometimes winged like the Greek Pegasus, or occasionally upon boars or wolves. Their task was to watch over the battlefield and select the warriors who had died in a brave or honorable fashion, often said to be half the total slain, bringing their shades to Valhalla, where they become members of the Einherjar, feasting and reveling until they are called to the great battle of Ragnarok. Some later stories even go as far to say that the Valkyries would pick and choose which warriors would perish in combat, or would even join in the fray. It should be noted that, although this image of gorgeous supernatural shield maidens escorting the deceased to Valhalla may be the most widely known and widely accepted iteration of the Valkyries, their legend had been modified through centuries of oral folklore, and then later Christianization of the Norse lands, hence their almost angel-like appearance and modus operandi. In some earlier iterations, the Valkyries were more demonic and beastly, consuming fallen warriors on bloody battlegrounds, and bringing their souls to the afterlife, gazing at them being compared to looking into a blazing fire. As time would go on, the Valkyries would evolve from lurking predatory scavengers of the battlefield to a more comforting and feminine presence to let the dying know that their ultimate goal had been reached. The origins of the Valkyries can vary from story to story. Some say that they were descended from Odin or other gods and goddesses of the Norse pantheon. Others that they were non-corporeal creations of Odin for the purpose of building the ranks of the Einherjar, while many stories exist of mortal priestesses of the gods and heroines of mythology who had been transformed into Valkyries upon death. Likewise, the number of Valkyries varies greatly, sometimes numbering but a handful, and other times numbering well into the hundreds. Regardless of their origin or their number, Valkyries appear in a great many tales from the Norse sagas, taking on roles of guides, saviors, and even the lovers of mortal heroes. In the vast ranks of the Valkyries, a handful stood out in Norse mythology. There was Thrud, said by some to be the daughter of Thor, or otherwise sharing her name. There was Eir, who, unlike the other Valkyries who would stand by and wait for warriors to die of their wounds, would heal them so that they would continue their fight, fitting, as her name translated to mercy. Similar in nature was Hilda, once a mortal woman and the daughter of a king, who possessed the power to resurrect the fallen so that the battle would never cease. Another mortal woman named Sigrun had died of a broken heart after her love, the hero Helgi, was slain after fighting for her hand in marriage, but was reborn as the Valkyrie known as Kara. The most famous Valkyrie, however, was Brunhilde. After displeasing Odin by defying his will, she was made mortal, placed in a deep sleep and surrounded by a ring of fire, until she was at last rescued by a hero, a scene that would later influence the story of Sleeping Beauty. That hero would end up being Sigurd, the slayer of Fafnir. After a series of misunderstandings, memory erasure, betrayal, and magic from a meddling royal family, Brunhilde eventually caused the death of Sigurd and his son, and then leapt onto his funeral pyre, and died holding Sigurd in her arms. As her mortal life came to an end, Brunhilde was once again made a Valkyrie, and carried Sigurd to the afterlife. Messengers of death are as varied in form as there are ways to die, yet few were ever as beautiful or as inspirational as the Valkyries. Centuries of oral storytelling and shifting cultural values have shaped the mythology surrounding the Valkyries, transforming them into the premier shield maidens of Odin himself, carrying the bravest and most honorable fallen warriors to the paradise of Valhalla, where the fallen await the call of Ragnarok. Their legends, their fierceness, their mystique, and their beauty have led them to be featured in multiple stories of Norse mythology, from Sigrun in the Poetic Edda to Brunhilde in the Volsunga Saga, and have become the subject of countless works of art and literary fiction. In modern times, the Valkyries have gone on to become some of the most enduring and most popular psychopomps and figures of Norse legend, embodying the culmination of a lifetime of battle, finally given a reward.